In this video, I wanted to answer two questions. Does my heated AIRER make the general area more humid? Does it add to the dampness in that general area? And can I make my heated AIRER smart? So when the washing is dry, it turns itself off and I'm not wasting electric heating something up that doesn't need it. Let's find out. Yeah, so welcome back to Dadskillz. Now, you know I take great pride in my heated AIRER. I think it's a fantastic thing. Binned off the tumble dryer, and that only gets used on very, very rare occasions. And now we've got the heated AIRER. Stands on top of the first floor on the hallway, and it does its thing without too much stress and too much hassle. So I had two basic questions that I wanted to answer. I'd seen a lot of comments on social media, some on my videos, some on other people's videos, about how a heated AIRER, just by its very nature, drying wet clothes would make the general area wetter, more humid, and I wanted to test that out. And I also wanted to see if I could make it smart and trigger an Amazon voice assistant routine. I won't say her name or else I'll get shouted at, whereby it would turn the heated AIRER off and it would say something like, "Kids, the heated AIRER is finished, go and put the washing away." Something like that. So let's see how we got on. So without too much thinking, I jumped straight onto Amazon and bought the Govee Hygrometer. It's about $32.99, really nicely made thing, great reviews, and I've got the app already because I've got loads of Govee lights anyway, as you can see in the start and the end of this video. And the setup was dead easy. Just got home improvements and then find your device, and then in very short time you're measuring the temperature and relative humidity. So with the device sat there on the desk, we've got a relative humidity of 52.4, and I wonder if that will change if I pick it up and hold it. Yeah, it rises quite quickly just with the moisture in my hand. So now we're going to put it in the heated AIRER itself. There's bits and bobs on here really. The wife has just put some wet stuff on and there's some stuff that was drying already. So it's not an ideal load for economical drying, but I've hung the device in the back there, and now with the tent zipped up, we can see what the device is reading. The temperature and the relative humidity will probably be both climbing just to get acclimatized to being inside that tent. And then hopefully, when we look at the data, we'll be able to see the relative humidity fall until it plateaus, and that's when we know that the clothes will be dry. So the AIRER was on overnight, and let's just take a look at the temperature. And that fluctuated within a range of around 31 to 31.7. So it didn't fluctuate too much. So now if we take a look at the relative humidity, which is the one we're really interested in. So in the middle of the night, it went down to about 34.7, something like that. And then it looks quite a sharp rise, but it actually started raining and thunderstorming about 5, 6 in the morning. So the relative humidity rose then to about 36 or 35.9. Okay, it's the next morning. All that washing was on overnight. We've emptied it. There's still a bit of residual heat because we just turned it off. By the looks of it, when we had this out on the desk the other day, the relative humidity was around 50 odd. But with this on and drying, it went down to, what was it, 34, something like that. So that's actually less humid than the standard ambient air that we've got around us. So the next test will be this, maybe up there somewhere, when this is on, to see, while this is drying, whether it makes the general area damper. The other thing that will make a difference is the weather outside. It started raining this morning, thunderstorms. So obviously that's going to contribute to the air being damper.
It was at this moment that he knew.
Yeah. So it was at that point when I tried to link my Govee hygrometer to Amazon that I found out I can't use it to trigger a routine. All it does basically is tell you what the temperature is, which is not much use here. So I had to look for something different, and that different was SWITCHBOT. I needed a couple of things with the SWITCHBOT. I needed the hygrometer, the little finger pressy device, and I needed the little mini hub to link it to Amazon, which I didn't actually need to do in the end because I couldn't trigger a routine with this either, which was fantastic. So I did a trial run. I set up a scene in SWITCHBOT whereby when the humidity reached a certain high point of 75%, it would trigger the little SWITCHBOT, which was fine. And I actually put it on the side of the Tapo, my smart plug that I usually use, because I didn't want it attached to the socket in the hallway. So then I set my routine up then in SWITCHBOT, and I wanted it to turn off when the humidity got to 35% or lower. The routine would consist of the little smart bot switching off the Tapo smart plug, and then it would bring up a notification on my phone. I couldn't get it to bring up a notification through Amazon and speak to me or the children to say put the washing away. Okay, it's about 8:30. I shall put up the 2 humidity readings. So the SWITCHBOT has gone under there, so it's at the top of the AIRER, and then the other one is sat up there just on top of the stairs. Put the cover on, turn it on. This is our little setup down here, and so hopefully once the humidity goes down below 35, that will switch that off and it'll turn the Tapo off there. Not long at all after it had all been turned on, the relative humidity had raced up to 84%. So the SWITCHBOT did its thing and turned the Tapo smart plug off when we got to 35% relative humidity. Now, the question is it totally dry? Which it seems to be. That is just, I don't know whether that's cold or not. I think 35 seems to be it. See, if it was totally bone dry, I could have turned it off at 36, but I think we'll stick with 35 and have a couple more goes and see how it goes. So this is the graph of 24 hours relative humidity measurement from the Govee, and this was measured from when I turned the heated air on, 8:30 that night on the 28th. And as you can see there, we're operating in a range of anywhere from 60.6 to 69.5, and it doesn't seem to be in any correlation with the heated air itself being on. Because when I turn it on there, you can see a small spike, and then it actually dips in the middle of the night. And it becomes more humid towards the morning. And I looked on the weather forecast for the morning of the 29th, and it said the relative humidity was actually 76 outside. So I'm going to call that a win. I'm going to call it 2 wins, just about. The first question I had was, does it make the general area more humid? Does it add to the general moistness of that area? From personal experience, I've never really thought it did, and I see a lot of comments from people, and I just wonder whether they've actually got one or whether they think that's what's going to happen. So I think I've proved to myself anyway that it doesn't contribute to the moisture in the general area, and we use that Govee thing there. That's £32 off Amazon at the moment, and as we saw, this works great and it's a Govee product, but it doesn't trigger that Alexa routine, which was a bit annoying, so that will be going back, I'm afraid. If I haven't allayed your fears, you could consider some of those little throwaway dehumidifier pots. I'll link some now in Amazon, but I think you can get them for a couple of quid in Pound Stretcher, B&M, those sort of places, so shop around. So the next thing we tried to do was make our heated air smart, and there are lots of variables in this that mean I may well go back to how I was doing it before, which is just the Tapo switch itself, switching off after 6 hours, then you can check it, and you can see if it needs a couple of hours more. So my washing can take anywhere from 6.5 hours to 10 hours to dry, depending on what it is. And you saw in that I had to use SWITCHBOT. Never used them before. They seemed great, but again, this SWITCHBOT stuff wouldn't trigger the Alexa routine that I wanted. But it did work. It switched it off at when it reached 35 degrees relative humidity inside that heated air with a tent on. So it's probably not worth the investment in the end for all this SWITCHBOT stuff, over £100, just to save me a couple of pence, really, running my heated air so it doesn't stack up. Let me know in the comments, is there something that exists already built into a heated air? I'd love to know, because that would be quite a nice innovation, wouldn't it? Bluetooth hygrometer built in, so it would tell you. That would be great. But that's it from Dadskillz today. Let me know about your heated air journey and how you've made it better. I've seen some really useful tips out there. Leave them in the comments below, and I'll see you again. Cheers.